and gentlemen, the Warbosses of Da ApORKalypse.
Hey guys, and welcome to the Warboss Show, episode 38 or 9 or so. We're nearly 40 episodes now.
Episode lots.
Yeah, we probably would be at 40 episodes because a lot of them are like bonus ones as well, isn't there? So we probably have done about 40 episodes actually, but we haven't done episode 40 yet. But that must be coming up real soon. I feel like there's a celebration there. Anyway, hey guys, Six Plus Stevo here. And my co-host.
Hello.
The mute drunken orc.
I don't know where you are.
I'm everywhere. That's your yes. Well, you are on my screen. I think what's on your screen is more important because you're the one recording.
Yes.
And editing.
Yes.
I dodged a bullet with this one. Only because
I've been hit.
I was editing a video for what would be the video you'd be watching now, but this one seemed more timely, didn't it? So
I'm sensitive.
Yeah. So we thought we'll get this one in first, and then it gives me the advantage of getting a bit more time to edit the one you will see next week, which should have been this week. So they've been recorded in different orders, but it doesn't matter.
Look behind the curtain and despair.
Yeah, it's more just grimace, like
oh. Again, shut again. Jesus, lock it.
Yeah, and we see them mega knobs with their grinders. Anywho,
what we're doing?
Professional hats on. We're here. We're going to be two old gits getting excited about the old world. Roll the trailer. So there we go. I don't know about you, Sid, but I was excited when Old World come on. I was excited when I see some of the bits. After I saw that trailer, I'm really fucking excited now.
Yeah.
And reading that. Oh.
Yeah. When they started announcing it was coming back, I mean, the game Old World, I'll be honest, I don't think I've got the time or money to be invested in a brand new game system. But seeing though we're going to be revisiting some of the old kits. Now, I say old kits. I've never used these kits. I've never seen these kits. I've heard about them. Sure, I've heard about them, but they weren't around. I was on my sabbatical for a couple of decades during that time, and just the thought that we might get the fabled boys kit, which merges so wonderfully with the proper boys kit in 40k, and I'd also heard rumours about a multi-part Goblin kit. I was like, no, it's not true. Can't. So I didn't think we'd get them, if I'm being totally honest. I thought they'd just trot out something else. But yeah, that and more.
Yeah, a whole lot more. So you had your sabbatical through the Golden Age.
Yeah.
Linking back to last week's episode there, guys. If you haven't seen it, check it out. If it's a particularly good one, I wasn't in it, so don't hold that against it too much. But it was sublime.
Still decent though.
Oh yeah, yeah. They tried, bless them. Yeah. If you want to go back and watch Scar and Essex wax lyrical about the glory days of 5th edition and orcs and the miniatures at the time, it's a fantastic listen. But yeah, not only did you have your sabbatical through that, but also, like you said, through this sort of, I guess, equally golden age of fantasy.
4th edition fantasy when I left,
Mm-hmm.
and 40k was on second ed.
Wow.
So I didn't do, and I came back during 8. Fantasy gone.
I like having you round, Sid, because I always feel quite old, and like, so you were just phasing out of it as I was just getting into it. You know, I was a young teenager, or how old would I have been? Now, I don't think I was quite teenager. I think I was just about, you know, on that 11, 12 when I got second edition, and that was like my first, you know, 40k set, other than Space Crusade before. But
yeah.
I only played. I started a fantasy army. I had a Night Goblin army because there was around the same time as Black Reach, we had the Battle for Skull Pass for fantasy, which came with the dwarves on one side and the Night Goblins on the other. And I did the same sort of thing where me and a mate bought a box each and we got double. So I started off with a massive Goblin army, and the only thing I bought to add to it was the giant. The new giant kit had not long come out, and it was fucking awesome kit.
So what giant kit was that then? Was that like anything like the current Gargant?
He's the one that's still available, but not the Gargant. So you got the little giants were the new giants. It's a fantastic kit. Almost worth it alone for the squashed goblin on the base. You just get a flat goblin that's like proper flat, like cartoon flat, like a steamroller's gone over him. But yeah, I had that, and I had one game of fantasy against someone who played it really, really well. He had traded me. He knew what my army was, and he didn't bring the dwarf army. He bought
Space Marines.
It was something just full of archers.
High elves.
Archers, and they just shot the shit out of me, and I didn't get near him. And like by turn 1, my giant was dead. And then turn 2, the goblins were just being massacred. Yeah. Because I just had nothing but like night goblins, spearmen, archers, and some spider riders. I think you got in that. Yeah, but really cool spider riders. But yeah, and I was just like, I lost my shit, and just said, well, "You've won." I think it's the only game I've ever said, "We'll just call it," because I was so pissed off with
game with fantasy.
First and last.
What a fantastic introduction to a game. And now I'm going to push your shit right in.
Yeah, I know.
You're never going to want to play again.
He thought it was hilarious, but I think he quickly regretted it because it just became right. I didn't even like raise my voice. I was just like
crushed.
We'll just call it then, because what's the fucking point, you know? And you can see the life just drain out of him as well. It's the only time I've ever done it, but I'm like, no, you're a prick. Like this was meant to be you teaching me the game, not just curb stomping me.
Yeah.
It's because we did that in 40k to each other all the time. I think he just thought he didn't do that. But
just going to continue the theme on.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, you should not. It's not fun when that sort of stuff happens. I don't know how people get pleasure out of it, to be fair. It's kind of...
Well, he didn't. He got pleasure out of it for like 1 or 2 turns, then he quickly was like, oh, yeah, I've been a bit of a cunt here, I think. Yeah. But anyway, happy memories aside.
Oh, yeah. I had loads of happy memories playing fantasy back and forth and that, yeah. In fact, with 40k, I didn't really have the many... I had lots of orc models, but I didn't have many full armies that I was more fantasy back in the day.
Yeah.
In fact, after I'd stopped playing it, I did buy a whole Chaos Space Marine army. Tanks and vehicles and Marines, and paint them up, and I never used them. And then left altogether, just as like a hobby thing. Like when I was like 20, I suppose, 19, 20. And then that was it. But so yeah, I missed out on all the things like Gorka Morka, and more importantly, all these old fantasy kits. There might have been some of the lead ones I had. I remember those old the metal stone trolls. Because the stone trolls.
I mean, spoilers are coming back too.
And they're back as well, and they are fantastic. So beautiful, brilliant sculpts. I love them.
Yeah, do you know, I really like all the troll models from that era because they were fantastic. But I thought the river trolls as well were like equally fantastic. Yeah. And I really liked the chaos troll at that time as well. He was basically like the rock troll, but with spikes sticking out of him everywhere.
Oh, remember the chaos troll?
Yeah, chaos troll. He was. I mean, I liked him. I thought he I don't know. He might look. I have not looked at him for a while. I remember really liking it when I saw him, but Yeah, I dabbled. I wanted to have a Beastman army. I got some Beastmen and some bits, and they were really cool miniatures. I've got. I do.
Mm.
If I did fantasy, Beastmen might be definitely one of the factions I would consider going with.
Yeah.
But goblins equally. I always just, for some reason, didn't want orcs. I just wanted goblins, and I loved the idea of like, because at that time you were getting like the giant spider coming out, and you had the new spider riders and that. And I loved that theme of them, and just having these little fuckers, little evil fuckers, just swarms of them, but then big gribblies in there, and like trolls and ogres and giants.
That was always the thing with the goblin army. It was just goblins, just a sea of knackers in black dressing gowns, and then like a huge thing and a huge thing, a huge thing. Like, I always wanted the it was the Marauder giant. It looked a bit like he had a big fellow with an Abraham Lincoln beard. It looks like his mum still cut his hair and he had a mini skirt on. It was bizarre, but I always thought, yeah, I want that. But he was huge. He was like that.
Yeah.
You'd think these days if you like, oh.
Yeah, the giant I had is like he's probably double the size of him.
Yeah.
And then the gargant ones now are like probably double the size of him again. Yeah. And I really like the look of that kit as well. That's just one of them kits you look at and you're like, I don't think I'd ever start anything there, but I just want that kit. It just looks like really fun to build and paint and show off. Just awesome looking miniature.
There's some good stuff like bits. I think will be good for bits.
Yeah,
I mean, not you spend 100 odd quid just to get a little gadget in a cage or some like people trussed up and some skulls and that. But if you get one, if you've got an idea for it or something to do with it, or even just a project, you'll get a lot of spare bits out of that.
Yeah, for sure, for sure.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, that Marauder giant that you talk about, I guess sort of jumping ahead a little bit, but he's coming back.
Is the other one's coming back, is it?
Ready on like made to order. So I mean, I guess I'll looking at the article. I guess we'll link the article on Warhammer Community down in the description. But we thought we'd just come to you guys and sort of go through the article with you, basically, and just read it from top to bottom. So yeah, I mean, obviously it starts off with that awesome trailer, just teasing us with stuff, and then we get a great screenshot of like army laid out in all its glory. And then we're hit with the Battalion box, which comes with 73 plastic miniatures, including 2 Ork boar chariots, 31 Ork boys, including a champion, musician, and standard bearer, and 40 goblins with command upgrades of their own. So
it's quite a few.
I don't know what do you think about this? Is this on your shopping list?
I don't know if the whole battalion. Well, do you know what? I don't know because I would say the instinct is to go, well, probably not the Battalion box, but I think those Ork boys, and that appears to be the multi-part compatible.
I can confirm it 100% is.
It mentions. I think that those 30 boys, that's not the equivalent of 3 boxes of them. That's I'm positive that's 1 box of boys.
It's
going to come in boxes of 30.
You are correct, I believe, because they say in the article a little bit further down, saying that a lot of these old sets are being sold in boxes much larger than when they were first out. Now, I'm sure back in the day, I'm sure you got 20.
I imagine it'll be 20, yeah.
I think it was. I don't know if later on they then came out with a box of 10. That's possible. I seem to remember something like that. But yeah, you got 20 in a box, and the same with the goblins. But I think it's interesting that this set contains 40 goblins. I wonder if they will just double up and you'll get 40 goblins.
Might get 40, or they might leave it as 20, but it seems we had to get 30 orcs, but 20 goblins.
It does seem odd, yeah.
So, yeah, but I mean, I'll definitely want a box of boys. Oh, excuse me. I definitely want a box of boys, and I definitely want at least 1 box of goblins.
I hate to say it, Sid, but I look at this Battalion box and I can't see anything in there that you wouldn't make use of.
No.
I mean, 40 goblins, that's just you're going to use them. You're going to have fun with them. They're going to just, and the boys too. And then the chariots, you've been doing a lot of work with like feral snakebite sort of themes lately, and more chariots and spears and scythes and boars isn't going to hurt.
Not going to hurt, is it? And if you, yeah,
So
I
I
mean,
don't see
even if
any
I was,
wastage in here for you. I don't see any
even if I
wastage.
was
There's no
just looking
like,
at the infantry, it's a case of you look at the box prices for the infantry, and then you look at the battalion price and go,
yeah,
I'm going to turn down a few free chariots. It's probably only worth
exactly.
getting it, to be fair. Yeah, yeah.
I mean, it might, because this might turn out to be the equivalent of buying a box of boys, a box of goblins, and a box of chariots. If they're saying about like these
Yeah,
sets being big, I don't want to get too carried away in myself because some of them I'm sure will be the same as they used to be, and some will be
yeah.
more. They did sort of say some of the kits, but yeah, I won't be buying this battalion set because it would it seemed a bit excessive to me. I definitely want the boys. I definitely want the goblins. And the chariot kit, good. Even if you're not trying to build chariots, it's got some cool heads and bodies of the boys on there and spear arms and stuff. It does
I'm
have good
confused.
bits.
Are you getting it or not? Because you said you
No,
would, then
no,
you
I'm
tell
not.
me
I'm not.
you
I'm
halfway
not.
once talk your way through.
Yeah, well,
Yeah,
that's how they get you, isn't it?
that's how they get you. This is
Fucking
exactly how they
do.
get you. Also, I'll be honest, I'm intrigued as to 31 Orc boys.
So am I.
Where's that? I mean, because looking at that unit there, you've got a standard bearer, you've got a musician, which I assume you can just build as part of the, the
That
actual
comes
kit.
as part of the
Yep,
set. You
that
have the
always used to
options
be
for that.
standard, didn't it?
Yeah.
Blatantly standard, and it always used to be musician as well. The champion is it going to be like an additional? I think if they'd put a character model in,
There's got to be.
they would have mentioned it. They wouldn't just lump them in
I,
with 31 boys, would they?
Yeah,
Would
it's
they?
weird that there's a bonus boy in there. I can't remember if yeah, it can't be because there's two. I was going to say I wonder if the chariot kit had a weird quirk where there was like an extra boy in it or something, but it can't be because there would be two. Um, so yeah, I don't know why there's 31.
Yeah, because I would have
But
thought the champion musician and standard bearer, like you say, would just be part of the sprue. It can't be an extra.
yeah,
Dude.
you'd get enough in this most likely, unless they change. I assume they're just going to double up, but I'm sure you did in the box of 20. I'm sure
Yeah.
you had enough to make two banners and two champions and you could have you could build it how you
Well,
wanted.
it might be similar to the 40k boys set where you've got you've got the 10 boys in one knob, but on the sprues, I imagine you'll have a sprue with just boys on,
Yeah,
multiple sprues with just boys on, but then you'll have the command sprue, which will have the champion and options, your
yeah,
musician,
it's
standard
possible.
bearer, and some extra bits that if you don't want to put those on, like you do in the boys kit, you can just make a standard boy.
Yeah, it
Don't
could
want
it
to make
could
it
well
like a
be
heavy
actually.
weapon. And
I
all you
can't
can do is chuck an extra pair of legs in. I don't know.
I had the kit back in the day, and I don't really remember that much of it. What I can tell you about it is that they are exactly the same as 40k Orc Boys. They were both like based on the same
Yeah,
kit. Like how Gruck Face Ripper was clearly based on the Black Reach Warboss, and there's loads of other examples of it. So it's all exactly the same scale, and all the arms, torsos, and legs and heads all fit together exactly as the 40k Boys kit did. So you just get a sprue of this, a sprue of them, or looters, or burners, or whatever else, and you just clip them all off. You throw them in a box of Lego, and you have fun making characters. And it's what we know and love already,
yeah.
but more of it. And it's like GW legal awesome kit bashing Lego goodness. It's amazing.
Catchy. That'll catch you on.
Yeah.
I mean,
So you get the musician, so you get some interesting parts. So you get the guy, he's playing like the bongos,
yeah,
like he's strapped to him, and he's got the two drumsticks with skull like clubs on them. You've got the champion, who's a sort of semi-black orc. He's got a cool helmeted head, one of like the black orc helmeted heads. And you've got the banner. It's always nice to have banners and arms that hold banners. Great for making like maybe wild banners or whatever things. And you get weapon options. They can have close combat weapon and shield. And the close combat weapon's perfect for slugger chopper boys because you get maces, you get like meat cleavers, axes, cutlasses, and it's more variety of weapons. And you've got the shield option, which will be great for like little glyphs and stuff on your vehicles and things. Or you've got the arrow boys, so you've got the arrow, great for making like feral orc shooter boys
yeah.
maybe or something like that. And you get spears as well. And they've also got the option to have two close combat.
Oh, you've
weapons.
actually got that right. That's
Yeah, so they've got one sort of held over their head, and they've got another one like that, and there's a lot of options in there, and it's very similar with the goblins as well. The goblins are less posable; they don't have that sort of ball and socket joint. Of
yeah. I
the
would
orc
ask about
torso
the
and legs.
goblins. Like what sort of components they come in. Like I imagine head
So
and arms, but
yeah, well, you get legs and torso.
also the legs and torso are
Yeah,
separate.
so you get
Ah, right.
little tiny little squat legs with little pointy boots on. But they're very the legs themselves are very monopose. They're just sort of flat. They're all sort of stood the same pretty much.
Yeah.
But it's just a flat, so the body it's just a flat joint.
You've got a bit
So
of
there's
rotatiness.
yeah, rotating, but you can't, but it'd be fairly easy to do that with. And then you get two arms and a head. And yeah, so they are, and the arms again, not ball and socket, they're just flat. See,
Yeah.
but you can get some nice poses out of him. The champion in there is particularly tasty model. He comes with a cool like sword, the sort of the feathery bit at the bottom, like cutlass thing sticking it outwards, and he looks pretty cool. The champion, I always liked him. And the musician comes with like a trumpet thing, like a horn. And you get a cool banner in that as well. It's called a Goblin banner, and you got the options to make them into arrow goblins as well, like
Right.
archer goblins. I believe. I'm trying to remember if they were a separate set. I don't think they were. I think you just had the options.
In fact, you've got there. So the goblins can be armed with short bows or spears and shields.
That's it. There you go.
And to be fair, although it says that, gives you those options. Yeah, if you can source any grotty looking weapons, it's just a hand swap, isn't it? Really.
Yeah, I mean they do. It does have its weaknesses. The Goblin kit, as much as I got nostalgia for it, you've got a lot of those hands holding a shield, and by that I mean just a fist, and you glue the shield to it. But the fist is sort of this flat, no detail on the top, and on the bottom it's sort of just a big blank area sort of thing.
Right. What's that? So what's the back of the fist like?
That does have like the knuckles and that to it.
Right,
I'm pretty sure.
That's great for sticking a weapon on then.
Yeah, you can drill a hole through it and mount weapons in there. Perfect.
Yeah, I mean, really, I don't even think I wouldn't even bother pinning that. If it's going to be plastic on plastic, because I've done something similar recently, and I got loads of like auto guns and cultist weapons from Necromunda kits. It's basically anything, all pistols and lower bin, no Lars, nothing big and chunky. And yeah, they were great just swapping out. The one thing I didn't like, and I think this was more with the Savage Orcs, was the shields had like the fist molded in.
Yeah.
So you can't do anything with that hand. And if you want the shield, you just got to cut the fist away. Whereas if they're separate, that's quite nice. I think it'll be quite easy to.
Yeah, they are. They're a little bit. They don't scale with grots. They're larger than grots. Goblins always seem to be a little bit larger. I mean, the 40k grots are particularly small, and the fantasy goblins were a bit bigger. So, like scale-wise, it'd be interesting to see. I've never really tried to, combine bits from the kits and use like a grot handhold and a grot blast or whatever, sticking it on a goblin. I haven't tried that with them ones.
But a bit bigger. That sounds like ideal for like Zoggrods.
Oh yeah, especially the champion one, the grot champion. He looks like a mean little fucker. I think he's just a. They're nice miniatures, and you get all the toes poking out as well with their little claws, like little badly kept toenails and stuff. They're nice. They're just of that era. It was a real golden age, and it's really lovely stuff, and it's just fun to build. It's proper. It's so exciting to be getting these kits back. I know a lot. I think we're in the minority because a lot of people aren't particularly. They saw it as a downside of the old world. Oh, they're just re-releasing old kits but when the old kits are that good and new kits as good as they are, with their limitations and stuff, and they're not fun to build, are they, people? Let's be honest. The new kits, for a lot of the time, they're not always fun to build. Whereas these kits, it's just fun. Just let your creativity go wild. And I'm looking forward to it. Just just filling up your bits box. You can just clip them all off. You don't have to worry about instructions. It's obvious who everyone does. Just clip them all off and just fill them in a big tub and just have some fun.
This is an arm.
Yeah.
Got a hand on the end. It's like
Yeah.
that. It's a right arm. Right, I know what that is. It's not like, what's this? It looks like a fucking joint of gammon. Well, that's
Yeah.
the left tit going down.
Yeah. That's his inner thigh.
Some ribs. Oh,
His inner thigh and 50% of his crotch.
yeah.
And a bit of spine poking up the back, like
Yeah.
no.
But no, the Battalion box looks decent. I'm still not at this point 100% convinced I'm going to get that. I'll certainly be buying things in that, but I might not buy the whole thing yet. That's going to depend on the price, and I have no idea what they're charging for these at the moment.
They're charging quite a lot for the what are they even called? Bretonnians and the skeleton fellas, the Egyptian skeletons, the Tomb Kings, that's it. Probably two of the armies that I would be least excited about. They just don't. Neither of. If I was going to go undead, I'd go for vampire counts because I just prefer that thing.
I'm not keen on the Egyptian aesthetic. I mean,
no. I mean, I think they're cool. They're just not for me. They're just it wouldn't be an army I'd choose to collect. But their sets came with all the rules and dice and books and shit and templates. Whereas this isn't. So I think this set will be cheaper. It also says in the article just after that, it sort of goes on to talk about how they're releasing like dice and the book, the what's it called, the Arcane Journal, Orcs and Goblins, Ork and Goblin Tribe. I love the artwork on this book. I think that's like original artwork.
Oh, is that the there we go, yeah, that is nice, to be fair.
I mean, if it isn't original artwork, I've just never seen it before. But if it is, I have to applaud GW on that, because they get quite lazy with art. But some of the, we've had codexes come out with just the same art again and again, like your 7th and 8th. You could never tell your codexes apart with the orcs, but that's beautiful artwork. I love that. I've got to say, the whole design aesthetic, I love the packaging and the design and stuff, like the blue borders and just. The boxes look nice. The artwork on them, it brings back that nostalgia, because I used to like those old fantasy and 40k boxes where you didn't have the picture of the miniatures on the box. You had artwork representing the miniatures, and it was like, in particular, that Goblin set had some lovely artwork on it, where they're all coming out of the woods and the champions pointing their way forward. And the Orc set looked really cool, like just these glorious color pictures, really setting the scene and the mood of that, grim dark fantasy sort of thing. It was I find that more appealing than just a picture of the miniatures I'm buying.
Yeah, I know what you mean. I remember the old 40k with Terminators when they first came out. I say the Blood Angel ones, they were Terminators, but on the box they were painted. Sorry, it was art of them as like a squad of Blood Angel Terminators just kicking off, and it was wicked. And on the
just fucking shit up.
Yeah, on the back you had each individual model sort of painted and that, so you could see the models. But it was just a nice bit of artwork on the front, and likewise the Ork Battle Wagon, the original Rogue Trader Battle Wagon, was artwork on the front, model on the back.
Yeah,
it is nice.
Yeah, I definitely prefer it. But yeah, I mean, the books and the cards and stuff and dice. I mean, some of the dice might be interesting to see what they look like when they come out. But not much interest to us, because we do space orcs, orcs with a K on this channel. But they've got some new miniatures coming alongside these old classics. And the article, as it reads, there are 2 fabulous new models for the Ork and Goblin tribes: a fearsome black Ork Warboss, who I imagine through the wonders of editing will be appearing on your screen right about now. Do you like it?
I do like it. I'll be honest with you, I do. I did think interesting painting choice by the studio. He doesn't look black Ork, he looks Ork. But just neither here nor there, to be fair, because that's just their painting style. But I do actually quite like the model. I'm very interested to see how big he is, because it all depends on the size of the base, I suppose. If we knew that, we'd know. But don't think that's a standard orc base. I think that's a little bit larger.
But the standards are larger now, aren't they? They do. Everything's been scaled up a bit on bases.
Slightly, yeah, yeah.
And I mean, he's barely fitting on that base. But I would imagine it's larger than your average size square base. I think it's a little bit, you know.
Well, they used to come. Goblins used to come on 20 mil square bases, and orcs were on 25s.
That's it.
I know this because here I have a goblin on a 20 mil base, and once I put the orc up, it'll focus on that, not my head. An orc on a 25. They're the ones I was rocking.
Oh, look at the retro goodness there. That's fucking
bases.
Awesome. I mean, they look quality though. That's just like retro charm right there.
Yeah, but you did have. I mean, you had like a unit, a solid block of those, all identical. And
yeah,
woe betide. Ah,
yeah, fucking right.
From your forearm or something.
Yeah. Those goblin spearmen are right little fuckers.
But yeah, I think that base itself, I don't know what the new sizes are, if they've upscaled them. I just used larger bases from back in the day. I don't think there was many. But that base is I don't know, I've just been looking at the skulls and stuff hanging from his boss poles, and
the human skull looks quite small.
It does, yes, it does.
So to me, his head looks similar sort of size, like a Black Reach Warboss head. I mean, if he's like actual that because for me the miniature doesn't do a lot.
I'd go with that.
This miniature doesn't do a great deal for me.
Really?
I think I look at him and I'm thinking like, I guess I'm just looking at all the detail and stuff, and I'm thinking, it just looks like it's very hard to work with that unless you're building him. And if you like him, then why wouldn't you? I guess
absolutely. But if I wanted an Ork Warboss for my fantasy army, and that was available, and yeah, I can see myself buying that and using him as he is. If I want to buy something to do something with in a 40k theme, or work with, or convert, or make my own or something, no, I don't see a lot of score. I mean, looking at
except for the head, I do like his head.
I do like
if the head's the same scale as Warboss, I'll be like,
do you know what?
Cool head to use,
I was going to say that. What is it about these? And these are new orcs. These, I'm talking, when I say these, I mean these ones so fancy. They've got what I would consider to be a well-proportioned nut. Is how I would expect it to be. It's not shrunken and wizened and full of. Yeah, it's a good size, big.
It's a proper GW orc.
It's a big swinging jaw, sticking out further than the rest of his head. His mouth in some like weird wraparound shade type formation when it comes front and sides. That's to me, that's the orc heads that I grew up on.
Yeah, for sure.
And I do think if you were going to do something with him, his right hand is primed just to be snipped off at the wrist and replaced with anything else. But
that's true.
I think that means he's fantastic for 40k.
Yeah. And a head swap looks like it would be fairly easy on him. You know, it looks like it comes separate.
Yeah, the head may come separate. Yeah, they are of course Forge World resin, not fine cast. It's not a massive. It's better, but it's. I
mean, I think you'll get really nice detail. You'll have a lovely miniature. I mean, I haven't had any Forge World resin in recent years. The only Forge World stuff I've got is like old Forge World stuff. I don't know if it's changed or got any better.
Yeah, it has. I mean, I've not had loads of Forge World stuff, but I've had some really old Forge World stuff, and I've had some like the Knob Warbikers and what have you, which is apparently quite an old kit. And I've had some more of the recent stuff with some of the marine vehicles, Space Marine sort of special vehicles. And the Orc stuff was a bit of a pain. The castings weren't always great, and you need to give them a good clean and what have you, and all the rest of it.
The release agent's a bitch to get rid of. Like shit, mate, you've washed that thing so many times, they still feel greasy.
The newer stuff's fine, and I've heard that they have replaced the releasing agent that caused the problems. I don't know if it's with a different one or something, but apparently it's not so much of an issue, and I've not had any issues with it.
That's good.
But then again, I've had cast some likes of Artel and that, and I've just got them and painted them. No cleaning at
So
all. And
I've
never
got,
had
I've got,
them either. So
I've got no issue with these being Forge World resin. I think, like I say, I've worked with it before, and I back in those days when I just go on the Forge World website and look at stuff and I was get Forge World miniature, like I never moaned about the fact it was resin or anything. I was just like, I was so happy to get these cool extra detailed miniatures, like, you know, in Forge World's glory days when it was like there wasn't much else out there like that of that quality. Now we're sport for choice. There's so many great companies doing amazing things. Whereas back then, Forge World, they were really making like the the high level, really crisp detail stuff. But yeah, so they've got him, and he looks cool.
Is there any other new model?
There is the as they call it, the deeply weird Orc Shaman Ogdruz Swamp Digger. Now this guy I really like.
No, I do like him as well, to be fair.
I when I looked at the little picture at small, I just glanced over the article when I first saw it, and I for some reason I had him. It looked like a goblin on there, and then I opened the picture. I'm like, oh, it's a quite orc with like a river troll fucking head, sort of fish sort of head.
I thought it was a fish at first, and I was like,
yeah.
You got, them really stupid looking lobfish or something.
Yeah.
It wasn't that. And then I went, oh no, that's a river troll head, or at least scalp or leather fly.
Yeah.
Whatever. But it was just like a troll head, and I love the little pot grots. Yeah. I love the fact that I thought, oh, there's a pot grot stirring a pot, and I looked and went, oh no, it was two.
He's having a bath.
The top one's sort of drowning, the one beneath him.
Yeah.
I'm very happy about his position.
He's just scrubbing under his arms, you know.
I do like that. I think that would be a crack. And again, I don't think there's a lot of scope, to make the sculpt 40k. But with a weird boy,
there's less need to, isn't there? Of a weird boy.
You don't even got a gun.
No,
exactly. You need a stick and look a bit weird.
I mean, if you're doing a lot of people, it seems to be a lot of people doing it these days. A pirate themed 40k orc army. This is a weird boy in your aquatic themed army with your shark squigs and your pirate freeboot and stuff. He's going to fit right in and look awesome. And you'll find a use for a pot goblin. There's always a use for a pot goblin. I really like him. Just his pose, the way his hands down, wrapped up in all the levers, and the orc hands have come a long way over the years. They're not just a solid lump like that anymore. Like each individual digit you can see there, sort of, in that sort of. Yeah, I like him. He's got a cool face. I think it's cool. He's got like a crab claw on his, his weird boy staff as well. There,
the first bit I noticed, that to me is where the eye was drawn immediately, was the crab claw on the staff. But I do like his face. I think he has got a good face. It's. I mean, it still falls into the scowl bracket of the faces we normally get, but it's a good scowl.
It really is sort of a scowl under a hood.
Yeah, he's not just sort of like, he's not angry. It looks like he's got like contemptuous disgust.
Yeah.
I've got a fucking troll head as a hat. I want to do that for.
Yeah.
It burns me scalp.
It's the same look Dim gives me when I say how much I'm enjoying the current edition of 40k. It's that scornful, like, ugh. But
no, I do like him.
So that's the couple of the new ones in Forge World resin. As I was reading this article, like, I think it's just the best article I've read on Warhammer community for so fucking long, because it's just probably because it's just a shitload of new and returning orc stuff, like, and it just, as I was reading it, just keep and there's this and there's this and there's not forgetting this, so it just keeps getting better as you read it. But then the next bit goes on about the returning plastics, and it says these are all exactly as you remember them, but in the main they'll be sold in larger numbers per box than they were before. What we were talking about earlier with the boys and the goblins most likely being prime candidates for that.
And these are this particular section is the main reason why I can't fully commit to saying I'm going to get that battalion box yet. So
Because there's a lot of other shit you want in here.
Yeah.
So we've got the Ork bosses, which was a sort of dual kit. Now I think I think you had the option with this kit to have boss riding a boar and like the banner fella on foot, or the other way around, or you.
Yeah.
I'm not 100%. I'm a bit hazy, but I think there was like a rule like you could be on the boar, and it might have been that the boar gets killed and he can then jump off on foot. I don't know if that was a special rule. I remember hearing something about that in some editions of 40k. I don't know if it was, but yeah, it's a cool boar, isn't it?
It is. It looks very similar. It's I think a head swap on the normal boars, I think, but it adds a lot of girthiness and weight to the and a lot of tusk. Yeah, quite.
Yeah. And it's got a cool, nice bit of armor over its head, and it just looks that little bit meaner, sort of standing out as a boss's boar.
I love the angle he's holding that banner. It's like
he's like waving it, isn't he? That's a celebration wave, isn't it?
Yeah, he's not sort of like just standing there holding it like a lemon. That's it, like everybody else in Bannerland ever does. He's actually waving it, and I just like it. I think that's cool.
It proper looks like he's sort of rallying the troops, isn't it? Like sort of swaying around, it's got that cool motion to it. I always thought the fact that it's like the Ork boss is like the head on the guy on foot. It's almost a bit derpy.
It's very, to be fair,
but I do kind of like it. It's I think the angle they put it at as well, where it's like proper sideways almost, it makes him look even more derpy. He's sort of going, ooh, but like I think if you turned it more, because he's got that one big tooth sort of.
There's a few orc heads that have just got one huge, and generally going really forward as well.
Yeah.
I mean that's the one mini that, and like I say, a lot of these return ones are essentially new for me. But that's the one where I'm not 100% sold on.
But all the parts to him.
It's
really useful because that head, like I say, you angle it differently, put it on something else. Yeah,
different head,
the body,
difference.
I mean, the body with the furs and stuff, and the motion of it. Again, it's got nice motion with its weapons and stuff. So yeah, it's I mean, it's cool. It's a cool box full of bits. You get a boar, you get some banner, you get I think the banner bit would be pretty good for like a knob with war banner. Or trailing off a vehicle or something. I don't know. It could be useful for all kinds of things.
I mean, the good thing with that as well is, I mean, normally when you see big banners like that, I say normally. I mean, I don't know what I'm basing that on. It's resin. I know Forge Worlds and a few things like that. I know Guard have got some plastic banners, but that is a plastic banner. I think that's great.
Yeah,
I'd be well up for that. And if getting him meant having to get his little simple mate. Fair play. I'll see what I can do. But it's well worth the price. Of course he can come. Bring him in. I shall call him Ruprecht.
Thank you.
He sort of looks like an orky version of a squire, doesn't he? in the picture there.
So is that definitely the Ork bosses? Is that like normally a two for one kit? Is it or?
Yeah, I think it was back in the day. Yeah, and like I say, I seem to remember. I'm sure someone in the comments is correcting me now, or hopefully agreeing with me that it was like there was like a rule that you could jump off on foot, or I think you just got like a banner, a big war banner guy and a boss, but you could do it in different ways. So you could have a banner bear on boar, or but yeah, so like, and they're your regular sort of Ork Warboss, whereas the one we just seen previously, the Forger one, is a Black Ork Warboss. So this would be like your regular Ork, not Black Ork. Then we've got the one we've been talking about already a bit, is the boys kit. But this is quite telling because we can see how many boys are in this picture.
Yes,
And
there is.
There's 30.
There is.
Or 31. But yeah, 5 rows of 6. There you go. And yeah, you can see it shows you, it's a couple of pictures of them as well, because it shows the different options. And it seems I might have remembered it wrong, because it doesn't look like you don't get the option to make spear boys, but you do have the option of them weapon and shield, double weapon, or arrow boys. So lots of spare bits left over, like 30 boys worth of spare bits that you're going to get. You know, having close combat weapons, both hands, always good, because otherwise you end up quite often slugger and chopper always in the same hand. So it's nice to swap them around a bit.
Find yourself searching for left-handed like choppers or something like that.
Yeah. So this is really good, and you can see the variety of the weapons they got, and some of the heads, like you got the helmet there with the big 2 horns sticking up, and a lot of the heads in this kit are, if you mixed them in with the 40k boys, you wouldn't be able to remember which one's a 40k one and which one's something. I've used quite a few fantasy heads on my orcs, but it's only ever the
moon head, isn't it?
The moon head one is the one that everyone notices, but all the ones that don't notice, there's like the orc boy, he's just got two teeth sticking up, but otherwise he's just a normal bald-headed orc. And there's a couple of others but they're incredibly similar. But yeah, the ones with the helmets in particular and stand out, and you get lots more with like top knots and stuff. But so yeah, the orc boys mob. I don't think we need to say much more about it, do we?
We've pretty much covered those, and the next. Well, I say not the next ones. The next one,
the next one.
What is the next one? Because is this
on my article I'm scrolling through? It's the Boar Boys.
Right now, you see, on mine, I'm going through the little black.
Same. Yeah.
So it shows
I'm scrolling
the
right.
Boys mob, and then it's scrolling right, yeah. And then it says the Ork Boys and Arrow Boys. Now, these don't look to be the multi-pose kits.
It's the same kit.
So that's the kit. Right.
Yeah, the same kit. So you get, like I said, you get the 3 different ways you see these like in there. That's the kit.
Right. That case, moving on. So
they just get an arm with an arrow bit on there, and then they get another one like, you know, with the sort of hand sort of like, you know, like it's just let loose. Which is a cool hand for like if you want to do like all boys sort of tripping or being shot. It's a cool like sort of, you know, it's or like, I don't know, firing a pistol, turn the pistol gangster wise, have the hand like that. She's like, you could get some really cool.
Yeah,
it's going to just give you so much more options of your posability and stuff.
It's difficult to get an empty hand that isn't a fist.
Yeah,
a fist when you're when you're trying to do something. All the open hands. There's a couple of them, generally third parties, where they're giving it that, or they've got a cigar or something.
Yeah, or the open hands we get in the boys kit is like that, isn't it? Like
useless one.
Yeah, it's great if you're holding the barrel of a gun.
If you want to make a unit of orc beggars, I have some teeth. Then that's fair enough. But no, but that will be quite useful actually.
I found that if they're holding a stick bomb from the wrong end, it works quite well. It works well for that as well. That's one use I found of that hand. But yeah, and then after that,
here we go.
We come to now this kit wasn't around for long, and I've never had this kit, but I want this kit because they had a boar boys before this, which were much more. The boars were the same as the ones put in the chariots. Those boars, admittedly, you have nostalgia for them and stuff, but they weren't great. These are the more modern boars that are much more like the Age of Sigmar ones.
Right, yeah. I mean, they are the Age of Sigmar boars.
Yeah, but with classic boys, not feral boys, not black orcs, just good old fashioned your classic boys with. I don't know if it's just their paint job on here, but they look mean as fuck, and them shields look awesome, and the weapons they look, and all the head options you're going to get in here with some quality helmeted heads.
Yeah.
They look tasty as hell.
Oh.
Some lovely armor shoulder pads as well. Variations on them as well. These just look cool.
I really would like a unit of these. I don't know what I'd do with them. Because like I say, I went and got the Savage Orc ones for me Squighog boys and that.
You've built a lot of Squighog boys of all variations in you and Boar boys.
Yeah, I have got a variation. I've got a lot of the Boar boys, but I've also got the GW ones and some of the like the Sharky ones that were mentioned earlier. But I don't think that's going to stop us.
I don't think it should, mate. Have you seen the champion one with the armored face as well? He looks cool, and yeah.
Oh, the boars
and
and
these boars, you know what these boars remind me of? It's like the little boar things they had on Willow, chasing into the camp and whatever they actually set out. That's what they remind me of, these, and that just makes me like them even more.
There's some nice helmets on those orcs, like
there is really cool ones.
Yeah, I mean even just some of I don't know if these are the standard sort of hand weapons you get with the boys.
I mean, they're similar, but they're different.
But these,
again, more variety. They do.
And
I think the way they're posed as well, where they're leaning forward, they're right into it. They look so cool. But they weren't around for. I mean, they were around for a few years, but they weren't around for a great deal of time because they were newer than the boys kit and the goblins kit. We said they were around a long time before these. Because the old boys kit was like the boys from that. This is sort of where I don't know, it's at that level where like GW was peaked with their kits. They were a bit more detailed, but still like really posable.
Yeah.
And then obviously not long after these, you sort of had Age of Sigmar and stuff. So like Orcs went in a different direction, where you've just got your bone splitters and your orks rather than orcs.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think I want them mostly for the orcs, but I don't know. Look, I'm like, I can build some boar boys. I never really thought about doing that before. It's never been on my radar to do, but I find it very hard to resist. And their shields, again, I don't know if it's just the way they painted them, but they look really cool for plastering all over your tanks and trucks and stuff.
Yeah.
And making banners and glyphs and sticking them on your terrain and shit. And
one of the things I found that when I bought a lot of the Savage Orcs for 40k, and one of the things I found was just no use whatsoever was the shields. But I think it's because it's like bits of bloody
made of wicker and wood and twigs and shit,
mango leaves all strung together and that. Whereas these ones are proper. You could see a load of, like a line of these stitched across the side of a battle wagon, ship style and that. You know, it's just slung. You know.
Or just used as boss poles, like replace the banners on boss poles or on top of your dreads or whatever on your knobs. I mean, these will look. One of these on a boss pole on the back of a knob will look cool. I see a Bad Moon one in there as well. Oh no, it's not. It's like it looks a bit like an Evil Sun. There's like the banner one. It's got like the screaming sort of skull with the things flailing off.
Oh, hang on. Which one's that? I'm looking. Is that the?
You see it. He's just. You see the bit of red. Yeah. Once you look, I thought at first it was a moon, but no, it's like the sideways sort of banner. So rather than face on, it's like you'd have on a buggy or something with the bits trailing off at the end.
But it's on like the end of a stick, as if he's going to smack you with it.
Well, he probably is. He's an orc, isn't he?
This is right. But yeah, they're I really like those shields. I like the weapons. I like the helmets I can see. The boars, I've got a lot of those boars. I quite like them. I know
are they exactly the same as the ones that the Savage Orcs come?
I believe they are. Looking at them. Do you know what?
And you see, because I see the armored one in there, and obviously the Savage Orcs don't get armor on there.
I don't know, because the Savage ones, they tend to have the crest.
Yeah.
The mane or whatever the hell you call it.
That's right.
It tends to come down on the forehead, the Savage ones, even like to the point where it's past their eyes on some of them. It's at least like level with their the eye ridges.
These ones just look like they've got little tufts, like 3 hairs poking up. So you see the one at the back. It's just like a couple of.
I tell you what it'll be. They've got different heads. Bodies are the same.
Yeah, quite possibly.
The running positions.
2 hours later.
But other than that, there's not a great deal of difference between them. You don't get the armored head with the savage ones.
The
Obviously.
more I look at this, the more I want it. I think because it's a kit I haven't previously had, and I sort of missed out on the chance of owning. So now it's like, then it just looks. I think some of the heads in this kit in particular could go on like your shooter boys and slugger chopper boys, and just I think you'd get some really cool.
Someone's going to make a fortune selling 75mm oval bases. I'll tell you that much.
Yeah, fucking right. Next up, we got one. Again, we've already sort of talked about a bit. It was the orc chariots. You get some nice bits.
Yeah, whips are always canny for making your run turds and what have you. Some of the helmets look all right, look quite nice. This does have a feel of an older kit. I remember those shields, and that did have some orcs with on those bows. I think there were savage orcs, and they were from fantasy, and one was a standard bearer. But I've got one of those bows knocking around somewhere, and they're very small
and kind of shit. Let's be honest. By today's standard, they're not.
Yeah, they're
the
not
best.
the
I mean, you can see they've done a decent paint job on there. But if I was playing the old world and I was buying that Battalion set, I would buy the. But yeah, cool arms, the way they're holding the spears. Again, you get some cool helmeted heads in here. You get, some nice glyphy bits, the banner on the top. And yeah, if you're doing sort of feral orcs or snake bites and stuff, that you get some good bits out of here. Yeah, and again, it just comes just more arms, more heads, more bodies. It's just more bits and unusual bits that you don't get in those mass infantry bits. So you get, that's a really cool bit for a specific use you have in mind. Yeah, the whip be great for a runt herd, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
It looks like it's. I don't know. It might be. I was going to say it looked like sort of like almost like a cat and nine tails sort of thing there, but I think it is just one solid whip. I think it's just on the picture, but yeah, cool. Then the black orc kit.
This is one that confused me a little bit
because Boys, Eagle Sigma, it's the same kit.
It is the same kit. It looks it looks identical. So I 40k'd up one of these not too long ago,
but weirdly, it's just been phased out, hasn't it? Because it's just been recently replaced by the new Ardboys kit, which looks very similar to the previous Ardboys kit, which is this one.
Yeah, I didn't know it had been phased out.
Yeah, well, or it's about to be. There was a new Ardboys kit. I think it's just come out recently for the Orks.
I know they've brought loads of new models out.
Yeah, some cool stuff actually. Some of
them really nice. There's big fellas with like knee shirts on with big double-handed. Yeah, pretty cool. Yeah,
I was looking at them the other day. Like the muscularity. Yeah, they look hench as fuck, and they've got some cool head options and bits in them as well. But yeah, Black Orc kit.
Look, it's got its uses. It's not a bad kit. I
like it for the heads. The heads are really cool.
Yeah. I don't know who's going to get too excited though about a returning kit where it was like, I was like, God, I went last Tuesday, but it's back.
Yeah.
Although if you did miss out, well done, you get your chance. But speaking of cool head options, if you look at the very left-hand model, that's the one with the derpy long tooth that sticks.
That's another one of a derpy long tooth, yeah.
But there is a head option in here where it's it always reminds me of the dude off Skyrim, where he's got the horned helmet with curved down horns. There's an orc there which is just it's the Skyrim orc head with that helmet. I stuck them on.
It's a quality helmet, yeah. I've used it on one of them somewhere. I can't remember which one. I think possibly one of my Mega Knobs. Most of the heads from this kit for me went on my Mega Knobs.
Yeah.
Because they just look really cool, and one of them went on my Death Killer War Trike actually.
I've stuck them on Warbosses.
They work nice. They're big
and massive. Do you know what it is? It's because you get a creature like an orc, and this would also work for humans and whatever else and Eldar, and then you give it a helmet. Now I don't know if you've ever seen anybody on a motorbike. They might be wearing a helmet. Their head's not that big, right? No. The helmet's a lot bigger than the head that's inside it. It has to be. It has to be. Otherwise, it's either very, very thin and rubbish, or it's squashed the skull. And I think a lot of Space Marines look like your head wouldn't fit in that helmet, mate. It wouldn't. Whereas Orcs, that's a helmet that would fit an Orc head comfortably.
Yes, it would. Yeah.
Banging on with a hammer. It's just.
And I think a Warboss could just about squeeze his head in there.
Oh,
be a little bit tight, but
but that's one unit which I'll not be bothering with.
Me neither, because I've got quite a lot of bits from that anyway.
I do like it. It's not.
It's great for this. That's where his arm comes from. That is a Black Orc banner arm
I was
there
going
with
to say
the pole.
it's a nice banner.
Because it's perfect for your knob with War banner, because it's don't use boy arms to hold your banner. Just don't do that. They look like weedy arms. It's got to be a knob scale arm on a knob body to do it justice. You need that one really. Don't use it from the boys kit, people. But that's all the models they've shown. But they also say that there's another phase coming later on, which includes, and they said in there the Goblin mob will be in that. So it looks like we'll have to wait a little while to buy the Goblins on their own. It says plus the Goblin mob, Night Goblin mob, and Goblin Wolf Rider mob, who are coming a little later. Now the Goblin Wolf Riders is a lovely kit as well.
Now I don't remember this. I had Wolf Riders, but all my Goblin Wolf Riders back in the day were metal. So to get a plastic Wolf Rider kit,
the wolves are like the boars pulling the chariots. The wolves aren't great, but the goblins riding them are nice.
I've got 3 plastic wolves actually, which were pulling. I think it's 3, maybe 4, which are pulling the chariots for Grom the Paunch.
Yeah, they'd be exactly the same.
They
pretty much had a plastic 2-half wolf like the boars, and they were just the same wolves in every kit. You know,
yeah.
If it had wolves, you had that. If it had boars, it had the boars.
Right.
But you get nice. The goblins go together exactly like the goblins from the regular walkie kind of goblins, but you get them nice squat legs that are really handy for mounting the goblins on a variety of other things. Sitting on top of a cannon, riding a bike, riding something else. So very useful for that. If you want mounted goblins, even if you're not intending to use the wolves, or you want mounted grots in your grot army, a great kit to have.
So what's the crack with those goblins? Are they similar to the goblin, the walkie goblins, in the same way these boar riders look?
Yes, yeah. So you could. Now I'm trying to remember if the bodies was the body and the legs. I still think it was the legs. Just squat. The body and legs might have come in one piece. I can't remember. Someone in the comments will let us know. Because my brain's a bit hazy. And then you get the Night Goblin mob as well. But again, not overly excited because, well, not excited at all, because all they're going to do is put them on square bases, because I'd imagine these are the same ones that they have for AOS. Right. Although
Doomspike Gates.
Yeah, although I'm trying to remember that they've possibly been updated now, so maybe this is an older version of that kit. This would be like, again, these came out around Battle for Skull Pass, because in that you got the monopose ones, but then this would be obviously the multi-part ones. I can't remember if they came with fanatics in there. You might have had like the regiment squares and then a couple of fanatics. Yeah. Well, I don't know if you still had to buy the fanatics separately. Then I can't remember. It's a long time ago now, people. Like, we're going back like fucking, I don't know, like 20 years. Yeah, pretty much about 20 years. But yeah, makes no mention of the Spider Riders, but hopefully they'll be coming as well. But it doesn't make any mention of them because I really like them.
Forest Goblin range and that.
Oh yeah, with the little feathers and that, and you know, you could get really colourful with your paint jobs on them, and with the spiders as well, you could paint them in all, you know, like tarantulas, like black widows, like things, and they were cool. They were very, very cool actually. Yeah. But you lots to get excited about. There's a lot of good shit. Like, my wallet's trembling in the corner currently.
There's a lot of returning plastic models and that. Should we have a look at what's returning in resin?
We should. What Well, I'll let you talk. We'll go on, go, because these are fucking beautiful. I'll just say that much.
So we've got the Orc and Goblin command sets. Basically, they're the first ones we got here in resin. And I'll be honest, I'd never seen this Orc standard bearer before.
Me neither. I really like him.
Yeah.
I love the hat. Sort of Russian soldier sort of hat.
Yeah. It's probably got a name.
I don't think it is though, because I've just zoomed in.
No, I don't think it is.
Looks like it almost looks like a little like rugby player's hat with a little horn on the top of it. His head looks really cool, even with the helmet he has got on. It's.
Do you know why? Look at the size of that jaw.
Yeah.
Great big swinging underbite. That's Orcs, man.
And he's got a bit of that grimace going on, just like this sort of calm, brooding sort of look. Like he's and I love the detail of like the chainmail on his belly. It's all ripped and torn and split, and there's a lot. That's not just like chain, rinse and repeat. There's detail within that. Like it's really high. You can see these like highly detailed kits, and the banner itself. I mean, again, the paint job is lovely on it. But
I might be taking a leap here because I've not seen this before, and the image I've got in front of us isn't the. Actually, I could make it a bit bigger. Not much. Is that a dragon's wing?
I believe it is.
Like the entire banner is just like
because it's got this. Yeah, you can see the scales on it, and you can see the horn on the sort of where it'd be like the elbow of a wing.
Top left's got a bit like talons sticking out. It's all across the top, and you can just see the sort of veins. You know, the finger bits. And with the wing membranes in between, sort of on the main banner itself. That's amazing.
That is so cool, isn't it?
And of course, you got half a dwarf nailed at the top.
Yeah, she looks really fucking grim. It looks proper. Like this is where you get like grim dark orcs, like and you see the old sort of the severed heads nailed to it by their hair and that. They're always cool to have, and skulls and stuff. But
he had nailed to a shield. I mean,
well, they and they did that before they killed him, because that would be like that is a real thing of shame, isn't it? To hack off a dwarf's beard.
Is it that fella who's on the banner? I can't see the join between.
Yeah, I think it is. I think they've hacked his beard off first, because you can see it's his beard sort of cut off, and look, you can see he's had a shave. He's got like a goatee, and then the beard itself is nailed to his. They've nailed his beard through his chest onto the pole. They're evil bastards.
That's horrible.
That's quality, isn't it?
We're going to nail it back on.
He's the most evil orc I think they've ever fucking produced. It's fucking lovely.
Yeah,
but what a fantastic war banner knob. You have to remove the dwarf bit and stuff, but if you just take the orc holding that rather impressive looking banner pole, it's got little glyphs and little details on it. It's
like the whole thing.
He's lovely.
If I get him, I'll be keeping him exactly as he is. To be fair, I'll probably strap a shooter to his back or something. But it's a
Votan, isn't it? He's got a Votan nailed to it.
Exactly, yeah. It's just a lovely model. The Warboss is I quite like that as well. Again, though, much similar to the last one, I quite like it. It's not something I'm falling over myself to get. But if I wanted a Warboss to stick in a fancy army, there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, I think because we're looking at it from a 40k perspective.
Yeah, we are, to be fair. Yeah.
Just like the last one, I think the head looks cool.
Yeah.
I like the head. The body and the other bits, I struggle to find uses for, because it's hard to see how many separate parts it comes in, and you've got to pick the right bit when you're mixing fantasy with 40k. You've got to pick the right bits, haven't you? Like some bits you're like, oh, it's a little bit too fantasy. It's hard to sort of see that in a sci-fi setting with certain bits anyway. But I mean, you can explain a lot of it away through lore and that, like feudal planets and stuff, isn't there? And we have all that, don't we? But that banner bearer, mwah.
Yeah, superb.
But the next bit, mixed bag for me. This with the the goblin
the
parts.
goblins. Right. Well, we've got
Yeah.
three. We've
I
got
like
three.
two.
Okay,
I hate one.
Right. I'm going to tell you which one. Right. Because you didn't have to tell us that because I think you probably like the two that I like
Mm-hmm.
and dislike the one that I don't like. Right.
Which, ironically, I think would be a lot of people's favourite one.
Now, I'm hoping the banner is the one that you like.
I really like that.
Yeah, because it's just.
It's
I mean,
just lovely.
Goblins can't even get a straight banner pulled, man. Little mugs, right? That's
Yeah.
awesome. That's an awesome little.
It's really cool.
Now, what you just said there is thrown us a bit because I really like the one on the squig.
So do I.
Oh, there we go then.
So do I. I really like the squig. I think his feet, legs, a bit weedy. But I love the face and the armored helmet, and it's like,
and it's
yeah.
I say weird. It's not.
He's like
to get a squig with such small teeth. That normally have like about 4 massive ones, whereas he's got like just a mad. He's proper shark grin.
Yeah.
It's I like that squig.
He's like growling like a dog.
That's one hell of a horn.
Yeah.
And it's
it is.
It's just it's like a dinner plate. And
I can see him like kicking like a bull about to charge.
Yeah.
You know, he's like ready to be let loose. He's cool.
Yeah, but I'm not keen on the little shaman.
No. Nope. I just don't. I feel like a lot of people in the community would be like, "Oh, that one looks so cool," because I don't know. It's a bit. I don't know. It's just not for me. I think perhaps you could do something. You could utilize that in some way with a shock attack gun. Maybe get rid of the shit coming out of his gob and having him suck it. I don't know, but it.
Yeah, but again, I mean, let's not beat around the bush here. You're going to be. These are coming back in resin. They're not going to be cheap. This is not sort of like, oh, I'll get him and have him getting hoovered up a shock attack gun.
Nah, yeah, it's true.
If they come in a set of 3, then fair enough, because you're going to pick it up because if you want the other 2, and I can see why people would want the other 2. Although I do like that banner, it has got snap written all over it.
You're fucking right, it has, yeah. Of course it has.
You've got the beard with the grot, you've got a big old sort of like, banner, and then you just look at that little point just above the grot's hand and go, and that's where they join. About 3 mil.
Now, if those bad moons were moulded in, which I don't think they are, I think that's just some beautiful freehand work. It would almost be a must buy for me, but I don't think they are. I mean, possibly they are, but that just looks like a really nice bit of freehand work there. But I don't know. I'll tell you why I don't like the other guy, the shaman fella, because it's well, the bard said it best. He was like, "You can't even tell what this is." That's what that is. So you put that to the untrained eye. Someone looks, oh, there's a guy. They've never done it. What are these little toys you're playing with? They go look. They can see what it is. They see that on the table. He's like, what's all that white shit coming out of him? Like what? I'm not a fan.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest with you, you can see sort of he's reclining back. His head's back. There's smoke with the moon coming out of his mouth. He's being lifted off the ground with it. It looks like there's some mushrooms in his left hand, which are sort of like tumbling down through the smoke. And then that other, I haven't got a clue. I haven't got a clue what the rest of it is. That big sort of lump, that's sort of near the back of his head, which is it his right arm? Is he holding something?
I think he's holding a staff in the other hand, and that's what you're seeing.
Oh, right.
But yeah, it just, I mean, it always is like being possessed or something by the power of the war and that. But yeah.
Nope.
They can't all be winners.
No, they can't. But like I say, if that's a set of 3, I might end up with them. If you buy them individually, I would. Yeah.
I mean, I
probably won't.
I don't know if that's part of a set or they're all individual. I have no idea. But I like the banner and I like the squig. The squig, another prime candidate for a grot biscuits conversion.
Yeah.
Have that fella riding on that, put some gun in his hand or something, some stick bombs strapped to the squig, put it on a round base, and bosh, you're away. You've got a Grot Muskets, non-Christmas, Grot riding a mean-looking squig. And I think the way you paint that squig up could change its look quite a bit as well. Like you could do some stuff with that. They've then got several kits returning in Forge World resin. These Orc and Goblin command sets will also be joined by the Troll Hag and the Bone Grinder Giant.
Right, now the site shows the Troll Hag there, which, to be fair, as far as River Troll models go, yeah, fair play. It's nice.
Yeah, it's cool. She's got the big old saggy titties going on there, the big bag of like fish and stuff. Like it's a cool, and it's big. Look at the size of it next to those goblins and orcs. You got orcs one side, goblins the other, and she's a big bitch.
Big chunk.
Yeah. Well, you get and then in the next one though, the Bone Grinder Giant. There is no picture of it.
Is this one of the plastic giant? Well, no, it's resin.
I vaguely remember. Hopefully, if we found it after filming this, you'll see a picture of it, because I'm getting recollections now of seeing this giant on the Forge World site. So I'm sure we'll be able to find an image of him and have him on the screen. But another giant coming. I mean, I'm sure that'll be great for people collecting the big the Sons of Beam, whatever the faction's called in Age of Sigmar. I'm sure it'll give them another option to get
I for one think he looks great. Unless we didn't get the picture,
I concur.
In which case I still don't know what it looks like. But
it's showing the picture. It doesn't. Oh, here we are. I was about to say the next image coming up, which we get another close, another look in the background there at one of the boar boys.
Yeah,
but is the Ork Warboss on Wyvern, which it says certain other miniatures have been remastered and are changing the medium from metal to Forge World resin, which I think is a blessing, actually, especially for a Warboss on Wyvern, because look at them wings. I don't fancy building that in metal. Fuck that. They ain't sticking on for shit.
Yeah. I mean, I'm always going to go
serious pinning for that.
Nice. Plastic would be nice. Resin. I prefer working with resin now, because I never used resin in the past. I prefer using it now compared to what it used to be like with metal. Metal sucked.
Metal's a fucker to clean up. It's a fucker to keep together, but it does have the advantage of when you pick up a metal model. Nice.
You've got the heft.
That feels like you're holding value there. That's like that. This isn't a kid's game. This is like, it's got that. But that's a classic miniature, the Warboss on Wyvern.
Yeah.
The Wyvern itself is fucking awesome. He's got a little pot belly. Well, I say little, but he's got got a skinny thing. I don't know. It's cool. It's a Warboss on Wyvern. It's. I mean, I call them Wyverns. Is it Wyvern or Wyvern?
I'd say Wyvern.
Yeah,
but
they're not as good as dragons, but they're cool.
Yeah,
they're awesome.
Yeah. It's potato. I didn't say it's potato, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, Macari. That's what it is. Abaddon.
Abaddon.
Abaddon. Well, how do they say it?
Abaddon.
Yeah,
that's what I used to call him, because I thought, well, he's Abaddon.
Yeah. He's Abaddoning.
When it's Abaddon, like the Italian boss, Swedish pop
13th Black Crusade. You really learn.
Yeah. Well, I've got a wrong'un. No, not a wrong'un.
That's the orc answer to Abaddon, isn't it? Is a wrong'un.
The wrong'un. That's a Warboss name right there. But yeah, no, I do like that model. I'd not seen that. I was used to a different orc on Wyvern. It was Azag the Slaughterer. I think he was called.
Oh yeah.
The orc who had the crown of Nagash.
Quality lore behind him.
Crown.
That's it. Crown of Nagash, was it?
Was it the guy? I can't remember who it was. It was some
Pretty sure it was. Yeah.
necromancer and turned him into like a kick-ass like sorcerer
Yeah.
and Stone Cold Psychopath. But yeah, that is. I like the face on the
Yeah, it's cool.
on the dragon light. It's got
Yeah.
it's got an orky jaw.
Yeah.
I
Oh, it's
can't
nifty.
express how much I love a big
Overbite.
bow.
Yeah. I think there's potential there for some kind of squiggy conversion.
Yeah.
Don't know what you would use this as, or if you were really good with green stuff and that. I mean, I don't know, like remove the wings. You've got a sort of a beast boss on Squigosaur potentially.
Yeah.
Yeah, because he's
Yeah,
got an
that's probably
awkward
close on
look
a
of.
good size for that. It's just
I think it
think
would.
buying stuff in resin.
Yeah.
Into some
Forge World resin.
Forge World resin.
Forge World
Yeah,
prices.
it's maybe not the price, the cheapest way to do it, but
Yeah. It's like sawing the wings off and that lot
yes.
of
And look, I kept all the teeth.
it.
But where it says there, right, where it mentions obviously it mentions above the images that there is also joined by the Troll Hag and the Bone Grinder Giant. We mentioned that before. And another miniatures have been remastered and are changing medium from metal to forge wood resin. The Ork Warboss on Wyvern and the Orc and Goblin Giant. Now, what is the Orc and Goblin Giant? If it's
So I
not
think
Bone Grinder Giant.
so. You had the Marauder Giant, didn't you, with the mutton chops?
Yeah,
Now, he was metal, but he wasn't an Orc and Goblin Giant. He was just a giant that could be used to Orcs
that's
and
right.
Goblins and whoever. But then there was another giant that was also metal, and he was a bit fatter and a bit more sort of plump. And he had, I'm sure he had like the jaws of something. He had like a hat or a helmet. I don't think he had a helmet. I think he had like a leather hat with like the jaws of something either side. And he had a big club, possibly a nail through it or something. But very similar scale to the Marauder one. But I'm fairly sure that's the miniature they're talking about
Right.
because he was metal. He had more of a, the Marauder Giant looked more like the good guys giant, and this one looked a bit more. So I don't remember him being specifically Orc and Goblins, but perhaps he was. He probably was actually. But yeah, that's the one I've got in my mind that I think they'll be bringing back. I'd forgotten all about him actually. I forgot he even existed.
I think I found him. I'll be able to get some pics put up for him. Yeah, the other one with the little mini skirt. I don't know why I've always associated him as the mini skirt giant with the chin beard. He's
You don't want to be looking up when he walks over you, do you? Like, Christ, fucking hell.
but he does look more imperial. He's got a jerkin on. He's got a puffy sleeve things. He's got a shield. You know, he's got a barrel of beer. He's wearing sandals for Christ's sake.
And it doesn't stop there. There's still more. There's still more shit. Returning metals, so they're bringing back some metal miniatures as well.
Yeah.
A real greed tide is returning in metal. However, the Goblin Shamans, bosses, nasty skulkers, and the rock lobber above will be joined by the following other miniature packs: Goblin bosses, Goblin Wolf Rider bosses, Goblin Bolt Thrower, Goblin Doom Diver Catapult, Goblin Wolf Chariot, Orc Shaman, Orc Shamans, plural, Orc Biggins Command, Snotling Swarms, thank you, GW, Snotling Pump Wagon, Common Trolls, and Classic Ogres. You have to do some fast editing there, Sid, with the images. See if you can keep pace.
Lots of TBCs just flashing on screen.
I mean, the images they show here that we're looking at now, obviously we've got the rock lobber, which you get the slave herder.
Yeah.
What everyone used to use as runt herds back in the day, because he's perfect. He's a perfect runt herd, and some really characterful gits load in there. Are they goblins? Or are they snotlings? Or are they both?
Oh, they're goblins. I would say they're goblins.
Yeah, no, they're right. They
directly in front of the slave driver fella. I tell you what, like that rock he's lifting. I think strength 2 is absolutely wasted on some goblin.
Yeah.
Hench little fuckers, I'm telling you.
Yeah. Yeah, it's amazing where you pull strength for though when you're getting lashed with a whip like that though. You might get strong pretty fucking quick. Again, I don't think there's a lot here. I mean, there's great bits on that rock lobber. I mean, perfect for a feral orc mech gun.
Yeah.
I'm just saying that would be quite a work. But the other characters, I think the Skulker could be quite cool. It's like just a cool little miniature to put mixed in with your grots because he looks mean. And
I take it that's him on the right with the fur cloak and the.
That's right, yeah.
That's a cool model, that, to be fair.
And the Goblin Big Boss, I remember him coming out in metal alongside Battle for Skull Pass. I never got him, but I'd always intended to get him.
Yeah.
The Goblin Shaman, I think, is a slightly older model, but a cool one. Very
They're all
characterful.
really nice. They're all so much more like detailed and advanced, I suppose, sculpts than the ones I remember from the early 90s.
Yeah, like your era would have been the sort of the generation before this, wouldn't it? Which had a charm all of its own as well, which is where
the charm.
I mean, we probably haven't got time to go into all the ones listed here, but the Goblin bosses, I remember being really nice.
There that you're really sort of like that you're actually looking forward to?
Yeah, snotling swarms, because it's just handy to have loads of snotlings.
Yeah,
I remember this
decoration on vehicles and what's
on your bases of your characters and stuff. Awesome. The Goblin bosses were cool. Because I always preferred the common goblins over the night goblins personally. Ork Biggins. I don't remember through this generation. We had Ork Biggins through the sort of generation that you're talking of. I don't remember them having another. I don't ever remember them being replaced.
Having a specific model. You probably could get packs of orcs where it just said Ork Biggin on, like, the little metal tab. But in the rules for like 4th, I'm sure Ork Biggins were somewhere like in between Orc Boys and Black Orcs. They didn't have the rules that Black Orcs had, which was a benefit, but they had like the extra pip of weapon skill and strength.
Yeah, Ork Biggins are basically Orc knobs. Black Orcs are something else entirely. They're like Urukai, the same sort of thing. They were created by the Chaos Dwarves. So they're like an offshoot. They're like a separate species almost, or a cousin species. So the big uns were like the biggest and baddest in your regular orc tribe, but they're not as big and hard as Black Orcs. But the big un models that I remember, no one had them because they were like older and they were kind of smaller than the boys. So it's good. I don't know
that's where your scale creep comes and sort of like
and I think so. It's interesting to see that they're bringing them back. I mean, maybe there's a set that I forgot all about, possibly. But the common trolls, lovely kit. Classic ogres, cool to have back. There's just lots of good stuff here.
There is,
and it still doesn't stop there. It still doesn't stop there. Bolt throwers and doom diver things, good for grot crew on mech guns and big guns. Fantastic for that. It carries on with made to order. On top of all that, there'll be a hand-curated selection of made-to-order orcs and trolls for the true connoisseurs, including none other than the fabled Marauder Giant. That's the fella in the miniskirt, as Sid put it, who, like all the others in this tranche. That's a word. I have no idea what that word means. Is returning in metal. Alongside him, there's the Orc Shaman on War Wyvern from 1993. 2 sets of classic stone trolls. Cool. And the classic river trolls, and the Black Orc Big Boss with axe and shield. So, wow. The image shown there shows the stone trolls with the snotling swarms in front as well. So you get the look at it like, God, the nostalgia is heavy with this stuff, isn't it? Like,
And they are like the original Snotling sculpts. I've got some of those from the 80s. And
Yeah.
the one that always stands out is the little fella front and centre, sort of giving it that.
Yeah, I love that. And you got
Yeah.
the one with a net, haven't you? And you got one just holding a bone, and yeah, a couple of them have got something that's like almost a weapon. Yeah, they're
Definitely a mushroom.
awesome. Yeah.
It's gonna hit you. Look at that tiny little green child's gonna hit you with a mushroom.
Oh, they're awesome. It'd be quality to have them back. I don't know if I've still got one somewhere. I think I've still got one of those snotlings that I just glued to a little 25mm round base and just had him on his own. He's just the little one with the spear, just giving a little smile, like.
Yeah.
And I just always liked him. I just kept him. I'm sure I've got him knocking about somewhere.
I stuck about 6 or 8 or so on a Gorgonaut that I'd done a few years ago now. I've still got a few spares, but there was one in a little suit of armour. He had like a little knight, and he was worth about,
yeah,
it was like 30 or 40 quid just for him. He went on
oh,
eBay. I don't know him. But yeah, get him and then sell them for 40 quid on eBay. They had enough.
Speaking of which, mate, because this stuff. Now, a lot of people say, "Oh, well, what's the point? What's the point in bringing back old kits?" I don't get the point. If you want the old kits, you just find them on eBay and that. Well, the prices on eBay for a lot of this stuff now is really high, getting silly on some of it. Even to some of the stuff, like I get it because they're from a nostalgia perspective, but let's be honest now. Some of the old stuff is really shit by today's standard. It's just not good. Some of it has a charm. Some of it, even then, I would look at and be like, even at the time, I'll be like, eh. But most of this stuff they're bringing back, from what I can see, is like the good stuff. But yeah, price wise, the people selling this stuff, I think the price, you'll see the price of the secondhand stuff crash because
you will.
No one's going to buy more expensive secondhand than when you can go and buy it brand new. So it's cool. And some of this stuff's getting hard to come by now, like Fantasy Orc Boys. I keep an eye out for them on eBay quite a lot, and over the last couple of years, you used to find them all the time. They used to be really easy to get hold of, but they are getting a bit more pricey and harder to come by these days, especially in good nick, especially new on sprue shit. Like they are becoming quite rare now. So I don't know how long this stuff will be around for, how successful the old world's going to be. I imagine if it becomes really successful, a lot of these old kits will be replaced with newer kits if it becomes like a big thing and really takes off. But yeah, I think
it's funny because they're bringing back all the I say they're bringing back all. So far, they've announced 3 or 4 different factions that are coming back in this sort of vein. Although I think the Orcs and Goblins have gotten so much more love or attention anyway than the Bretonians or the Tomb Kings. Now, is that because they just had a lot more models available?
I mean, I don't know if they've got like a next wave of stuff coming or whatever, maybe. I think there's 7 factions in the game.
Well, this is it, but even the factions which have been like omitted, which are causing a bit of a stink, that there's no lizard men, there's no scave and stuff like that. They did just put articles out on the website with all the army lists for those factions. What do they call the factions? The
Armies of Renown, or what was it called?
It's the one that means like we don't care about these anymore, but it's
Legends, basically.
Basically,
Fantasy version of Legends.
They've got those out. If you're still sitting there with all your Skaven models, thinking Legacy, that's it. Legacies of the old world legends. So they've put out the army list. So if you've got all your rat men, you've got all your lizard men, you've got all your whatever else is been missed out.
Chaos dwarves.
You've got the army lists. You'll be able to use them if you want to, and I think that's pretty good.
Yeah, and I think they'll. I think they're dipping their toe. And I think if it proves successful, I think, but a lot of those factions are in Age of Sigmar, and Did I see somewhere today that there's rumours of Chaos Dwarves coming back to Age of Sigmar? And that might be a big reason why they didn't re-release them. I mean, fucking hell, if they re-release Chaos Dwarves, they'd sell a lot of them because they've been rare and unloved for a long time. There's, you know, a big demand out there, but look, for us, it's fucking exciting.
Yeah,
it's going to be a good year for us because we got this coming out, and then we've got our new Orc Codex coming out. We've already seen a Bad Moon Warboss. We've seen a teaser pic of some kind of big mech type character, and possibly more besides. So yeah, get your wallets ready, guys. I think it's going to be a good year to be an Orc player. Could be the new golden age.
Big words from a big deal.
Big deal. Big words from a big deal who doesn't know what the word tranche means. So please let me know in the comments section, guys. Best answers will get read out on the next episode. There you go. That should get some interaction. No idea what that word means.
There we go. So that's basically the article. Right, I'm going to put you down for a second, mate. Not like a vet, mate. Right.
Look, if I had time and money, fantasy would be something I would like to get into. It appeals to me a lot more than Age of Sigmar.
I love the fantasy stuff. I did, I really did. But we used to play a lot of the fantasy, Warhammer Fantasy roleplay as well. So that was like that done all your world building. You would travel to the cities and around the old world and sort of like you knew what was in what areas and you got to know the geography, which is so weird because it's just, you know the geography, brilliant. But then when armies are fighting, you go, what's this? So they have, and always telling the White Dwarfs like, well, what's happened is the orcs have came out the Badlands. Now they've they mentioned Marienburg. That's on the coast.
Yeah. It's better than them just coming through a portal.
It's isn't it? Planets.
Or realms or whatever it is. Yeah. It's a bit more I don't know, it's more grounded, isn't it? It's more Lord of the Rings, isn't it? It's more
this is it, yes.
You know, it's that old school fantasy. It's the world and the setting that really adds so. Now I'm not a big lover of square bases, and for that one game I had, I did find moving it I'm not wheeling around and stuff, so I do actually prefer the round bases, skirmishy style games. But
movement trains were always very. I mean, I used to just bits of card, generally the old boxes, and I just put them on there. And then you just move the card forward,
slide around, or the movement trays.
Sometimes I paint them goblin green as well. Depending
as everyone did.
Depending how much I had left.
Bright red spears.
But I'm looking forward to it. I think there's going to be a lot of options. Mostly boys kit, goblin kit, probably the ball kit. It's the plastic.
Same for me, actually.
Lots of couple models.
Couple of the other bits as well. I'll definitely be picking up some snotlings, that's for sure, because they'll just be useful. But yeah, there we go. So colour us excited. Next week, what's coming up next week? Next week, you're going to be joined by myself again and Mr. Dreadwar Gaming as we do some hobby and chat. And since that was recorded a couple of nights ago, I think we chatted a little bit about this old world stuff actually, but we'd only just sort of skimmed over it then, so you might hear me repeat a little bit on the next one. But yeah, we're going to do a bit of painting. Me and Dread paint our knobs. There you go. That's what we're going to be doing.
Not with, but actually.
We're not painting with our knobs.
Yeah.
We'll hang that in Tate Modern. Anywho,
thanks very much for watching.
And it's 6 Stevo signing out.
Take care.
See you next week, guys.